U.S. Ambassador to Israel Tom Nides met with Prime Minister-designate Benjamin Netanyahu on Monday evening in an unpublicized meeting. According to Israel's Channel 12, Nides reportedly hinted at the Biden administration's opposition to the possible appointment of far-right religious Zionism chairman Bezalel Smotrich as defense minister. An official source claims Nides did not mention Smotrich by name, but he did urge Netanyahu to carefully consider who he picks for the senior post, given the ramifications the appointment will have on Israel's policies in the West Bank. Smotrich has been demanding to head the defense ministry since his party doubled in size and won 14 seats in the Knesset election earlier this month. Benjamin Netanyahu and Jewish power head Itamar Gvir agreed to a series of legislative initiatives on Wednesday that the far-right lawmaker has been pushing for. Those bills include retroactively legalizing dozens of illegal West Bank outposts known as young settlements within 60 days of the government being sworn in. Likud party officials also announced changes to the 2005 disengagement law that would allow the legalization of the controversial Omesh outpost and yeshiva in the West Bank, and imposing a minimum sentence for agricultural crimes. They also agreed to broaden an existing law that prevents criminal charges against someone using force to protect their home to also apply to anyone defending an IDF army base. Route 60, the main highway that runs through the West Bank, will also be expanded. And joining me in studio is I-24 News defense correspondent Jonathan Regev. Jonathan, always a pleasure to have you here with us. Let's discuss these agreements. Explain how these agreements are going to change the picture in the West Bank.
You just mentioned this, what we call the young settlements. They're basically illegal outposts built sometimes on a private Palestinian land. And then what Itamar Gvir is demanding, and apparently as reported, Benjamin Netanyahu, something that he agrees to, is to legalizing them, legalizing illegal outposts. This is not like a settlement like Ariel, like Ma'ale Adumim, the big settlements in the West Bank, which already have all the proper authorizations. This is taking over a hill, or just some hill in the West Bank, possibly on private land that belongs to other people, and legalizing it, and it of course creates a lot of problems for the Palestinian Authority, also for the United States perhaps, to accept something like that.
Right. Explain to our viewers this open fire policy that Gvir pushed for so much during his campaign.
Basically, what Gvir is saying is that sometimes soldiers or security people are afraid to shoot at Palestinians, thinking that it will have ramifications, that they might be put to trial, saying that they were not exactly put in danger of life. Now you can open fire if you think there's a situation which endangers your life. Gvir wants to allow opening fire in any case. For example, if we look at what happened this week in Ariel, right, people are saying that the security guard, which could have ended this incident far earlier with a much more positive result, did not do it. Some are saying that he was afraid that if he opens fire at a situation in which he himself may not be in danger or does not feel in danger, that may have legal ramifications. Gvir wants to make sure that opening fire in any case, whether it's a Molotov cocktail, stone throwing, or anything, will be done legal. I have to say that a lot of in most cases, when we see stabbing attacks, even stone throwing, security people and soldiers can open fire. Usually, I mean, that is what is needed in order for them to end the situation. Therefore, right, I think this is something that is already happening as it is.
Right. I want to talk about the strategy here, because it seems Netanyahu is willing to concede to many of Gvir's demands, but then there's no communication with Smotrich whatsoever.
First of all, we have to understand that at least up until the elections, Smotrich and Gvir were running together. There are two different factions. There's the Jewish power and the religious Zionism, but they were running together in the elections themselves. And now Netanyahu is trying to break it up. He understands that Smotrich, especially with his demand of the defense portfolio, this is a problem for the defense establishment. This is a problem for the United States, as we've heard. So he's trying to do, as opposed to what he did before the elections, make sure they run together so that there's no danger, what we saw on the left side, side, what happened to Meretz, that they were missing just a few thousand votes to pass the threshold. Make sure that this does not happen, especially to the religious Zionism. Ben Gvir and Jewish Power, it was well known, they're very popular, and they'll get 7, 8, maybe 9 seats by themselves.
Right.
Religious Zionism, that was not exactly clear. Now he's trying to make a difference between them. And Ben Gvir, I think that for many people, perhaps in Israel, seeing him as a minister of internal security, that's something that will be hard to swallow. But still, the United States perhaps may be willing to live with that. Smotrich as defense minister, that's another thing. And let's remember, $3 billion coming from the U.S. to the Israeli security establishment. So yes, the U.S. does have leverage.